the role that Canada, having significant strengths in both agribusiness, agri-manufacturing, as well as our strength in energy, rare earth minerals, and the whole spectrum of what is possible there. And I'll keep the politics out of it at this juncture, but I'm just wondering if all of you could just briefly answer about some of the opportunities that exist in the larger conversation about the Indo-Pacific strategy.
So farmed fish, it's obviously a huge part of ag, and I think we can do a lot more on linking with whether it be Vietnam or Indonesia or the Philippines, but also there's opportunities in places like Cambodia that are trying to develop their aquaculture sector. So I think that's an area. On critical minerals, I don't know if the committee considers sand, but sand is an area. Canada imports the second largest amount of sand globally, and Southeast Asia is where there is a lot of sand, and so that's another area.
Yes, just very briefly, I'm not an expert on agriculture or energy. I'll just say that I follow political economy in Thailand quite closely, and their questions of agricultural development are extremely important on the electoral scene, and so I can see that investments there would be particularly receptive, especially given the current government Thai that it is planning to invest heavily in agriculture.
Look, food security and energy security are two of the most common threads that come out with our discussions with ASEAN governments and commerce, particularly since COVID and some of the events in the Ukraine and the Middle East. But in terms of energy, LNG, Canadian LNG would be of huge demand in this part of the world if when we finally are able to export it as a transition fuel to decrease the dependence on coal for baseload, which is still the main primary fuel instrument in Southeast Asia. I think looking forward, Canadian nuclear technology can play a really strong role, and there's tremendous interest in that recently that's sprung up, and there's a dialogue that we're having on that with a lot of the ASEAN states. On the ag front, certainly opportunities all over the shop in terms of Canadians' agriculture technologies, in areas from aquaculture to dairy to other types of both primary and processed foods in the region. And I think investment. So obviously our Canadian institutional investors investing into energy infrastructure, agriculture infrastructure is of high demand. And as you know, many of the Canadian pensions and other investors have offices in Southeast Asia now, primarily in Singapore, covering the region. So that's been very well received.